Hello, my name is Luciano Oliveira. I'm here in Florianópolis, Santa Catarina. I am a Brazilian attorney, also licensed in California and Texas. And today I want to talk about one of the most strategic places on the island for foreign citizens who want beach life without feeling cut off from the city, Campeche. Quick note before we start. This is general information for educational purposes only. It's not legal advice, not tax advice, and not a substitute for a professional review of your specific situation. Now, let's talk about the big idea here. Campeche is not one experience, it's actually two experiences. You have what people casually call Old Campeche, meaning the broader, older, more spread out parts of Campeche, where daily life is very local. And you have a Novo Campeche, a more planned, more walkable, more beachfront, adjacent pocket that often feels like its own little universe. Let me place you on the map first. Campeche sits on the south side of Ilha de Santa Catarina. The beach known as Praia do Campeche is an ocean beach between Joaquina to the north and Morro das Pedras to the south, with Ilha do Campeche sitting offshore directly in front of it. From a practicality standpoint, this is one of the reasons foreigners pay attention to Campeche. It's closer to the airport. Depending on where you are inside the neighborhood, you are roughly in the short ride zone, and Floripa Guide even lists Campeche as about 8 kilometers from the airport and around 14 kilometers from Central. That matters if you travel a lot, if you want to host family and friends, or if you just don't want a 2-hour logistical adventure every time you land. Now, let's talk about Old Campeche. And when I say old, I'm not insulting it. I actually think this is where you feel the roots. Campeche still has a strong thread of artisanal fishing culture, and it is one of the places where you see that living tradition rather than just a postcard version of it. You also have community landmarks like the Capela de São Sebastião, which is a cultural reference point for local festivities and processions. And if you want a very Floripa specific detail, this area is tied to traditions like the mullet season, and the whole community meets ocean meets culture vibe that is hard to manufacture. Real estate-wise, the broader Old Campeche area is more dispersed. You'll see more houses, larger plots compared to beachfront condo pockets, and a day-to-day rhythm that feels residential. It can be quieter and more private, which is exactly what some buyers want. But the same spread out reality can mean you drive more and walk less depending on the exact street you choose. Novo Campeche. Now let's jump to Novo Campeche because this is where a lot of foreigners land, especially remote workers and people who want that walk, coffee, beach, repeat routine. Novo Campeche is often described as a planned residential area with a mix of houses and condominiums and streets designed to feel calmer and more organized. You will hear people talk about wider streets and a more intentionally built environment. Travel and Leisure even calls out Novo Campeche specifically for walkability with beach access, grocery, and cafes nearby, while noting that other parts of Campeche are quieter and more dispersed. That's exactly the two experiences point I was mentioning. And here's a detail most people miss until they're physically there. The city has been building infrastructure aimed at access and preservation. For example, in December 2023, the municipality delivered a 123-meter environmental boardwalk in Novo Campeche, linking Rua Jerônimo Venâncio das Chagas to the beach, built over dunes and Restinga. About the beach, Praia do Campeche is an oceanfront beach. It's known for strong waves and colder water, and it's a magnet for surf and kitesurf. In other words, this is not the calm lagoon water lifestyle. It's windy, wave, horizon. The upside is that it feels expensive and uncrowded compared to the tighter beaches. The downside is that it demands respect from swimmers, and it's not the best fit if your dream is glassy, calm water every day. Now let's talk about nature, because Campeche is one of those places where nature drives the value. The dunes and restinga around the beach are part of protected areas with legal preservation dating back decades, and there are municipal measures tied to preservation. In winter, it's also common to have southern right whales visiting off the coast, especially around July and August, using the area as a nursery. That's part of what makes this coastline feel alive, and it's one of the reasons people fall in love with it. And then there is the crown jewel, which you can literally see from the sand, Ilha do Campeche. Ilha do Campeche is about 1.6 kilometers off the beach. The interior has archaeological material dated thousands of years back with shells that require guides and fees. There are also daily landing limits, which is why people who try to wing it in high season sometimes get frustrated. If you want that experience, plan for it. Here is another fun detail most people don't know. Some guides and local historians talk about the island as one of the most important archaeological sites in Florianopolis, with a major concentration of rock inscriptions in Santa Catarina. So yes, you can go for the water, but you can also go for something older than the city itself, which is a very different kind of luxury. Now the question everyone really cares about: why is real estate in Campeche, and especially Novo Campeche, valued higher than many other areas in Florianopolis? Three big reasons. First, geography and lifestyle. You get an open ocean beach, dunes, and the ability to live close to that without being completely remote from the city. Second, access. Proximity to the airport and workable access corridors make it easier for international life. Third, scarcity and restriction. You have protected areas, environmental constraints, and a limited amount of prime position housing stock near the beach. When you combine that with rising demands, values move differently than they do in places where you can just keep building outward forever. Now let me give you a buyer-oriented checklist, not legal advice, just practical reality for foreigners buying in Campeche. Number 1, choose the micro area before you choose the property. If you want walkability and a more life outside your car routine, you usually lean towards Novo Campeche. If you want privacy, larger spaces, and a more residential vibe, parts of the broader Campeche area may suit you better. Number 2, respect environmental boundaries. Dunes and restinga protection is real. Even if a place looks buildable to the naked eye, your due diligence should confirm what can and cannot be done there. There is a bunch of foreigners who bought a property built on forbidden areas who are entangled in a lawsuit. Such a costly mistake. Number 3, understand that beach neighborhood can also mean infrastructure is uneven. There are ongoing improvements, but parts of the beach area have faced issues tied to sanitation, water quality, which is why you always check current conditions and don't assume a pretty photo equals a perfect reality. Now, why does the neighborhood have the name Campeche? The straightforward explanation, supported by multiple historical references, is that the name comes from Ilha do Campeche and it's associated with the presence of pau campeche, a plant historically used for painting and other applications, and the island name then carried to the beach and the neighborhood as a whole. So if you're considering living or buying Campeche, here's the conclusion. Campeche is one of the best international lifestyle neighborhoods in Florianopolis for people who want serious beach energy, quick access to the airport, and a mix of local tradition with modern comfort. Novo Campeche leans more walkable and planned. Old Campeche feels more rooted and residential. The right choice depends on how you actually live day to day, not how your vacation for 3 days. And yes, we can help. We have an office in Florianopolis, and our team provides A to Z legal support for foreign citizens buying real estate in the Campeche and Novo Campeche area, including the kind of due diligence that can save you from very expensive mistakes. We can also refer you to to a licensed realtor who specializes in this neighborhood. If you want help, schedule a consultation with our team. If this was useful, please like and subscribe and follow us for more tips. See you in our next video.